Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. They just keep coming round, don't they? Mondays. Okay, so today we're going to do this little guy. And we're going to do a little bit of thread painting. So what that is you kind of paint with your thread. So it's meant to look like all the colors are kind of blended. And it's meant to look a little bit more realistic. So what I've done is I've kind of chosen a medium color. Let me turn the music down. This is a new one. I haven't listened to this one before. I haven't listened to this music before, so we'll see. So what I've done is I've kind of chosen a middle, a light, and a dark. Yeah? And yours don't have to blend completely. We're just going to add a little bit of the dark and a little bit of the light to kind of show the highlights and the shadows. So we're going to start with this middle medium green color, and then we'll do a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one. So get 2 strands of the medium color. And I've already kind of rationed them out. So I've got 2 strands of the medium green, and I've got 1 strand of the light color and 2 strands of the dark. Because the highlights are literally going to be like really, really tiny highlights. And we're going to be doing a split stitch. And split stitch is where you go into the last stitch that you went into. That doesn't make much sense, but you'll see. So I'm just going to start right at the bottom and then go all the way to the top and then kind of fill them in with the split stitches as you go. Hi, George. Ooh. Sorry, guys. Really sorry. I'm looking for a new phone mount. One that doesn't have a bendy arm. Right, so for split stitch, you're going to come in towards the bottom, and I've got a smaller needle today as well. You don't need a smaller needle, but I thought maybe it would be easier for me to show you. So make 1 stitch like normal, and you can do it 2 kind of ways. You can come up through like this, or you can come up a ways and then come back down between the 2 stitches. Yeah? So if you can see, I've come down and I've kind of split the 2 threads into 2 threads. So you can do it with 2, you could do it with 1, but you can do it with 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter. And you're just going to continue like that. Like that, and then split this one right in the middle. Don't worry if they're not split right in the middle. That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you go down or come up into that last stitch that you've done. I think also what this does is that, like with other stitches, you can see the stitches really easily. Meaning like even with the back stitch, you can see the holes that you've made. Well, I don't have the other ones because I've stitched over it. Let me see if I have any that you can tell that are just back stitch. Right, so like this one, you can see there are 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And start with the medium green color, Meg. So whatever colors that you chose, stick with like the middle one. So we'll do most of the work in the middle one and then just add some accents with the dark and light. So what the split stitch does is it just makes it kind of look like one long body of color instead of individual stitches. So I've done 3 stitches, but you can't really tell that there's 3 there. Also, Jessie hasn't come down from bed yet, so I might have to, David let her out and took her for a walk earlier, but I might have to let her out when she comes down. So just apologies if you hear her roaring at me. Twigs and Knot says the leaves have been my favorite and look so pretty. You know, I go back and forth between which ones are my favorite, the leaves or the flowers. But I think I really like how they're all green, but they're all different kinds of green. So it looks really like natural, like in nature. Right, I'm having the same problem that I did yesterday, but we will carry on. So after you get to the top, what I like to do is do a little outline of the leaf and then fill it in. So still doing split stitch, but you're just going to follow kind of the outline of the leaf. You can tell how loose my fabric is. Oh, that's so annoying. But I really don't like to hold it because it doesn't look nice on the video. So these will be tinier stitches. They will be smaller. And that's all right. We're using 2 strands of thread. Oh my God. Unbearable. I don't have any other 7-inch hoops, so I'm stuck. And then for the middle, I just do 1 or 2 kind of into to fill up the space. Yeah? And then you just move down to the next one. This one will take a little bit longer because you really do have to make such tiny stitches. And you really want to get like the shape of the leaf because they're all a little bit different. They're all a little bit wonky. None of them are exactly the same. And also, if you notice, there's no like rhyme or reason to this stitch. They're like, I'm not making them all the same length. I'm not doing them like in a specific kind of way. I'm just making small stitches and then putting the second stitch into the first one. Yeah? Okay, I think I'll do kind of up to here. So the next kind of 3. And then I'll show you how to add the highlights and the shadows. Only because this does take a while. I don't want you to be here for like an hour watching me make the tiniest stitches in the world. And if you see that it's not blended very well, so like these two, I've just made 2 stitches, but they look like 2 like distinct stitches, you can always do one in the middle of one to the middle of another. So I'm going to go up through the middle of this one and down through the middle of this one again, just to kind of blend it a bit more. I'm going to jump right down to this one. As always, if you have any questions, then just leave them below, or you can DM me after. Okay, so again, so this one's quite a long stitch, so I'm just going to do another one in the middle to tack it down, because you really don't want them, you don't really want them people to see or yourself to see the individual stitches. You really want them all blended together. And when you have curves, especially small curves, you might have to make a little bit smaller stitches to get that curve in there. And it's different from like the long and short stitch as well, because there's no rows or anything like that. So if you remember, like with brick stitch or some of the other stitches, you can like really tell where all like the stitches start and end, especially if you fill up a shape, sorry. I was thinking of other stitches. Okay, so for this one, you're just gonna continue out that way like this, because it's meant to be kind of under the other one, like this one is overlapping this one. So we're just gonna tuck them right up under there. I might do like a little stitch quiz in my stories later. That might be quite fun. So all of these, you're just gonna stick right under there. So if you haven't been posting your, if you haven't been posting your progress into your stories or on your grid, do it, do it, do it. I've been trying to repost as many as I can. But make sure you go to the hashtag. So the hashtag is hashtag the Barmy Fox and then SAL. So it's Stitchalong. And like give some other people some likes and some comments as well, because the best part of this is the community. So it's not just you stitching at home by yourself, it's everyone. We're all stitching the same thing. So whether you've just chosen to do leaves or if you've chosen to do both, the flowers and the leaves, go and leave some love on other people's pictures, on their grid. Sometimes the Barmy Fox SAL hashtag has its own stories. If enough people post to the stories, then it'll have its own little stories reel that you can look at, reply. You might make some new friends. It's so good. So I've been trying to go through and at least like every single one of them and comment on the ones that I can. And then anyone who tags me, the Barmy Fox, in their stories, I can repost it to my stories. So that's quite fun. Oh, Carolyn says, I've been forgetting the SAL at the end. So that's all right. So I'll go to the Barmy Fox as well. Hashtag, and kind of leave some love for you there, because I haven't really checked the Barmy Fox hashtag in a while. All these little small stitches. They're like so little. But it really does make it look blended. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, like I said, and then I'll show you on these leaves how to add a little bit of shadow and a little bit of highlight, and then you can kind of complete the rest of them by yourself. Is that all right? Hope that's all right. Because I think it'll be another 20 minutes for me to finish all the rest of them. So I'll start with the shadows. So the shadows, you have to kind of think of it like if a light is coming from here, which parts will be highlighted, which parts will kind of have the sun shining on them, and which parts would be in a shadow. Yeah? So we're just gonna pretend that the light is coming here. Mini art lesson, y'all. We're gonna pretend that the light is coming here. So kind of all of this side. Where's my little needle? Last year I had that sword, huh? That'd be a really huge one. Here it is. So all of these kind of tips here would have just a little bit of a highlight on them. All of this side, because remember the light is coming from this way. So all of the tops of these leaves here will all have a little bit, just a little, and even just the tip of this one. And all of the undersides, so down here, under this one, under that one, under this one, these will all have a little bit of a shadow. So with thread painting, you need to make your thread look like a painting. So with that, we're going to add the highlights and the shadows. I hope you're with me. I hope I'm not being too crazy. So I'm going to put one thread, just one, in the needle. This is really long for this, so I'm just going to chop it. And you could just stop there. So you could just do the whole thing with the split stitch and just leave it. You could totally do that. You don't have to do any of the kind of details or additions that I'm doing. So if you only have two colors, use two colors. If you only have one color, use one color. You don't have to do every single bit. Sometimes I think I get a bit too carried away with the details. So do not feel bad if you're like, that's not for me. But you could always try. Okay, so we're gonna just do the very tip of here, and by doing that, we're just gonna make some little stitches in the top. Right on the edge, but in the green still. So we're not actually going on the white fabric. So we're just adding a little highlight there. Do I have a knot? Yeah, but that's all right. And it's kind of up to you how much you want to add. Because it is only one strand, because you really don't want it to be like, whoa. But you want to see it just a little bit, just a little touch, like a little glimmer. Yeah? So can you see it's just a little bit there? I might swap the hoops for tomorrow because this puckering is like driving me nuts. It's making it difficult to stitch. So just kind of the tips of the leaves. We've got one more to do over here, and then we'll do the shadows, and that's it. So almost done. There we go. So that's what we have so far. I might actually add a little bit more to this one because you can't really tell. In the video that I see, it looks like a really, really, really dark green, and it's really not. It is like a nice medium color. There we go. So we have just a little bit of the highlight. I think I've lost you guys. And then we're gonna go in with 2 strands of the dark color, and we're just gonna add a little bit of shadow. Every time I see that fabric, I'm just like, oh. Horrible. All right, so I've got my dark color. And like I said before, if the light's coming from this way, so the highlight will be here, and on the other side will be just a little bit of shadow. So we'll just do little baby stitches. Meg is still here, just stitching along and concentrating. Oh, glad I didn't lose everybody. You want it to be fun, not too technical, but you also like, I want to teach something, you know? Maybe if I zoom in, you'll be able to see it better. So we're just adding little stitches. You don't need a lot because of the dark color. And this one is 2 strands. And it's not full on blending, you're just adding a little bit. Just a little bit. No. Can you tell? We're just adding the little stitches here, here. For the main color is 2. So the medium green color is 2 strands. The dark green color is 2 strands. The highlight was just 1. So it's just adding a little bit. You don't want to go crazy because you still want to see the main color of your leaf. kind of the more that you add, the more dark that it will look. So just keep that in mind. I am still using split stitch for the highlights, so I've tried to kind of go in each one. And even for the dark parts, if I just use one stitch, then it's just a straight stitch. Because you need 2 stitches to split them, don't you? But if I ever do two stitches, then I will use the split stitch. You're welcome. So this is where you can do just a couple until you kind of get used to it. And then if you find that you like it or you find it easy, sorry, I'm trying to show it better because it's been raining all morning. And just turn the light on. So yeah, can you kind of see? So I've done some dark on the bottom, some light on the top, and actually I could add some more light. It's just, I didn't want to like overdo it, you know? I might go back and add some light stitches. All right, do you guys have any questions on this? It's one of those things that you kind of just have to do it, and then you'll see what I mean. Don't be scared, just jump right in. And don't forget to go check out the hashtags. You can see other people's. I just realized I haven't posted on my actual grid Instagram in like 5 days. Been doing the stitch along, doing the patterns, doing some orders. So I might just go back in with one thread, especially like up here where you can see that there's like 2 specific stitches, and split those and make it look a little bit more continuous, like it's a nice little highlight. So there we go. That's what we've got going on today. I cannot wait to see your little thread painting plants. You don't have to use this tone of color, this shade of color. You can use any color that you feel like. Just make sure, I think we talked about it, well, we talked about it on the flowers. So if you didn't do the flowers, I'll do it real quick for you now. So there's different kind of tones and shades to colors. So you kind of want to choose some that are kind of all the same. So like these greens, I would just say they're almost all in the same family, except the highlight. But you have other kinds of greens as well. So you could have like a really like yellowy, a yellow undertone like this. Where's another yellow one? So like these, you could probably do a nice thread painting with those because they're all almost the same color tone. These ones are almost all the same. Or you could have blue. So like a bluish color would be like this one. So this green has more blue than this green. This one has more yellow. Let's see if I can find ish. I don't have all of my colors here, I just have some. Yeah, so 1, 2, and then probably one more. It might actually be like a blue. Yeah, so these ones are more blue. These ones are more yellow. These ones are more kind of a mix of both. Yeah? So you don't have to choose such a dark green, dark middle color, as long as you choose 3 that are kind of similar in colors and of the same family. So like I wouldn't choose this one and this one, or this one and this one, because they're like 2 different, you know? Okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So that's what we've done. I'll finish mine later today. And I'll post the video on YouTube later today as well. I can't wait to see your... Well, some people post them on the grid and some people post them in their stories. So I cannot wait to see your thread painted plants. And yeah, have a great Monday. I will talk with you tomorrow or Wednesday. Bye.